You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And these will be our picks for Week 12. If you aren't aware of it, well, it would be irrelevant to you. We did our Turkey Day picks on a previous podcast.
Yeah. And hopefully they all cashed. Well, this will go up Thursday morning, so they could still, if they hurry, maybe get the last two games.
Yeah.
The afternoon and the night game from our Gobble Gobble podcast.
Oh, fuck you.
I had to get one
Gobble
more
Gobble, it just fucking gets my back up. I hate that shit. But this will be a really brief recap of the previous week, too, where we went 3-0.
For the third time this year.
Yeah. First time since week 3, and what a pile of bullshit the 3-0 was.
And just for shits and giggles, we're at about a plus $24 now. Give or take 50 cents.
Also the first time we've been up since about week 3. We've been just hovering. We win 2, we lose. We hit 1 and 2, we get 2 and 1. It's been that kind of year, which, looking at most prognosticators, that's pretty good this year.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed. Turning a profit is good.
Well, and usually, okay, they put it out, they have consensus, just straight out picks. Usually those have been about 65%, right? When you just put it to the mass mind.
Yeah.
And I'm only talking straight up here. Usually those are about 65. This year they've been under 50% for even who wins the fucking games.
No, I'll take a profit. We've gambled, what, $330 so far? And we've cashed $355 approximately, so I'll take it.
Yeah. It's grinding out a profit is what it really matters. So we'll start with Buffalo. We had plus 2.5.
And what was the final in that? 16-12 over Cincy?
Yeah. And that was the Cincy who lost AJ Green early. No one's happy about that. Really, I mean, again, we're football fans. AJ Green is something fun to watch. Not happy, but Buffalo lost LaShawn McCoy early.
Yeah.
I'm glad we took the 2.5 because we were sweating balls.
Yeah.
Near the end of that game.
Well, and the 2.5 wouldn't have mattered if they scored the touchdown. And I didn't see the end of the game. I knew Cincinnati got down to like the 27 with 3 seconds left. I was watching it on Gamecast, and it's just like, oh, fuck, thank fuck that's over.
Yeah. It was, and well, Robert Woods went down too, or Robert Wood. Can't remember if it's singular. So this was just a slugfest between two very mediocre teams. We picked the right side. That was a winner for 1952. We had a debate last week about whether we should take Dallas -7 or Pittsburgh -7.5. Neither one of those would have been relaxing.
No. So Dallas ended up winning by 10, correct?
Yes. Again, a late field goal. They were down 14-13, I believe, at the half. Then they just came out and they ran the legs off Elliott.
Yeah, and hit Dez for 2 touchdowns.
Yep. it's a good idea, but I still don't trust Jason Garrett in control of Zeke Elliott. We've seen what he will do to protect his redheaded ass.
Well, there's no coach in the league who wouldn't be running Elliott like that. With the offensive line they have.
Yeah, and a rookie
they're built
quarterback,
for that.
but I know you dispute this. I think part of the reason DeMarco Murray was ineffective in Philadelphia was the overwork. So that one, it looked risky. It came through. Pittsburgh, in bad weather conditions, I will say this. But at no point did we feel really great about that win either.
No. It was... I don't know. Well, yeah, they could have made it a push if they scored the touchdown at the end. And they got into the red zone, too, at the end of the game.
And they had a late turnover, which kind of sealed the deal, previous to their last drive. But there was a Josh McCown pick. Yeah, none of this was relaxing.
No, and the last game was the worst of the three.
Oh, the last game we put up to a loss.
I mentioned it
in our Turkey podcast that I had Trixie on our 3 bets, and I cashed it for a nice little profit about 3 minutes into the first, because I brought up when we talked Sunday morning that Miami was missing both Pouncey and Albert from the offensive line. And I was really nervous about the Miami bet, which I had touted so hard. Then Gurley ripped off 9. I managed to cash it out just before the Rams went up 7-0, which easily could have been the winning margin in this game. I was pleased with myself for cashing it out. I'd kind of stopped watching. 4 minutes left in the game. Jarvis Landry scores a touchdown, which should not have been a touchdown. Why on earth was that not whistled dead for forward progress?
I didn't see it. Can't.
Oh, you never even saw a replay?
Didn't see it.
He's on about the 5. There are 4 Rams in front of him. And the play just keeps going until the entire offensive line from Miami comes and slams him from behind and carries him into the end zone from about the 4.
Hey, as long as it's helping us and not hurting us, I don't care.
Oh, I know,
because we've had enough games over the years that we've had that go the other way.
It was reeking bullshit, though.
Oh, well.
When you talk about player safety, and we've both had linemen justly penalized for coming in and jumping on the pile, if you're going to let this play go that long, you're just begging for this shit.
Yeah.
It was terrible. But you were texting me at the time.
Well, you texted me. You're like, oh, we're live in the Rams game. I'm like, what? And I think I texted you, what the fuck?
Yeah. And
I looked at it.
As I was typing my text out, they scored the go-ahead touchdown. It was absurd.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns in 3 minutes. I'll take it.
Yep. And as we pointed out on our last podcast, that really helped our Rams under bet.
Yes. That was huge.
San Diego did not play this week. And nevertheless, somehow your Titans managed to cost me $350.
Oh, I've never advocated you betting on the Titans.
Oh, I know.
Seem to bet on them all year for some reason.
They're a good team. Jesus Christ.
I don't know how they managed to lose. Well, they spotted Indy 21 points and then outscored them 17-3 for the next 3 quarters. We just, the first half, we looked awful. Scored a late touchdown the end of the first half to make it 21-7. Stopped Indy the whole second half. And scored a touchdown in the third, got a field goal in the fourth, and just couldn't. 4th and 1 at their 23 or so, and DeMarco Murray couldn't get a fucking yard.
How many dropped balls on that last drive, too? That was what killed me watching it, needing that game.
Well, it was.
Though, mind you, by the way, when I talk about losing me $350 on a cheap bet, I also had Miami on that bet, so my bullshit, I guess, is a wash.
Yeah. And that if Tennessee scores there's no guarantee they win the game anyway. It would have just tied it. So, but just spotted them too many points. I don't know why we couldn't stop them or make any in-game adjustments during the first half. But as has been the case most of the year, in the second half, whatever LeBeau adjusts at halftime, we shut them down. Totally shut them down. But to no avail, we can't fucking beat Andrew Luck. He hasn't lost to the Titans yet. 10-0.
I believe,
or 9-0.
You guys are 0-11 in your last battles with Andy.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking awful.
Half a decade of futility.
It's awful.
Yeah, fuck your Titans. All right.
I'll bet on them again this week. See how they do for you.
Well, actually, I've cashed some bets with the Titans, but yeah, when I really needed that one, they didn't come through. But the Miami was bullshit anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Is it that time?
It's motherfucking game time!
That's right. It's motherfucking game time. Sunday. Well, you're still working off your meat hangover. The first game up is Arizona, +4 at Atlanta.
I don't know how you feel about it. I don't really want to touch this one.
Neither do I.
I think this is a kitchen sink game for Arizona.
I think it's kind of a kitchen sink game for Atlanta as well.
Yeah, they're falling into the same pattern as last year. Start hot and then fucking fade. The Bucks are only a half game out of first place.
Really?
Half game out. They beat Atlanta first game of the year. Atlanta's 6-4. Tampa Bay's 5-5.
Wow.
If Tampa could win at home, they're 1-4 at home and 4-1 on the road. And I know everybody's talking about the Raiders being 5-0, but that 4-1 from Tampa is just as surprising.
Arizona has to be panicked about Arians being hospitalized for the second time this year.
Yeah.
And by the way, we've talked before about the great coaches make game plans based on their personnel, not their philosophy. I think Arians, much as I like him, is drifting into the notion that he's going to do what he's going to do, even though his quarterback has shown no particular aptitude to doing it this year.
Yeah.
He keeps trying to air it out. They're running the wheels off David Johnson.
But that's all they have.
Yeah. Fitzgerald.
But he's not a threat to score.
No.
Unless you get in the red zone. So it's not like, if we lose sight of him for a play, what's he get, 15 yards? they're not hitting the game. They're not hitting Brown on any long touchdowns like they did the last couple of years. It's just a mess.
J.J. Nelson's a mess. Floyd is, when we were talking on Sunday, I said he was as soft a player as I've ever seen. Like, there was kind of a corner fade, and the guy got behind him, and he didn't back up into him. He didn't jump. It was just like, yeah, that one's not there. He's a soft piece of shit.
All right, well, who you got in this one?
I'm going to take Atlanta.
Me too. Just because they're at home. If this was in Arizona, I'd probably take Arizona. I don't trust Atlanta.
That brilliant Amazon series, All or Nothing, may have been more prophetically titled than they realized.
Yeah.
That was their year. And we talked about this too. Carson Palmer has gone back to being Carson Palmer. Last year was the aberration.
I hope this year they're doing Dallas.
Oh, that would be awesome. All right, next up, we have Cincy plus 4.5 at Baltimore.
No, it's down to +4 now.
Oh, really?
Swung down 0.5 point.
That's got to be sharp money.
I don't mind this one.
Yeah.
And I've been against Baltimore all year, but Cincinnati's beat the fuck up. Giovanni Bernard's out for the year. AJ Green's out. They've got nothing left on offense. 0.
Tyler Eifert.
Yeah, but without AJ Green, what's Eifert?
I think Eifert is okay. Baltimore's defense, we talked about it a tiny bit in the Thanksgiving Day podcast. That defense is for real.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, yeah. I'm definitely on Baltimore there.
Oh, yeah, just because Cincinnati's just, I don't know what they can do offensively. Like, the secondary for the Ravens, we've shit on their team all year, but it's one of the best in football, apparently. So I don't know what the Bengals are going to do for offense. Once Green went down, they put up 12 points. There's 4 field goals against... Or no, there was a missed extra point there, sorry. 2 field goals and a touchdown.
2 missed extra points.
Oh, so they scored 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah,
I swear to God, Mike Nugent is 50-50 on kicks. You brought it up a couple of weeks ago. Once again, Mike Brown being a cheap-ass owner.
Yeah.
Where do you think Marv Lewis ends up? Because I'd hire him in a fucking second in San Diego when Mike McCoy gets fired this year.
Well, I think he stays with the Bengals. Why would you leave?
Well, he's only ever on 1-year contracts.
Yeah, but it's jobs. They're not getting rid of him. They're not going out and paying.
Fuck that. He's actually good. Given the situation he's been in, if he had talent, I'm sorry, I've already started pining for him as coach of the Chargers.
He wouldn't. I don't think he goes to San Diego. It's not much better than where he's at.
Well, it's quite a bit better.
Well, you got an old quarterback. You're not going to go to a rebuilding team because what do you got? Rivers for 2 years?
We got a quarterback. We got a running back. We got a shockingly good defense. And,
we might go there for the defense.
Yeah. No,
but in a year or two, we might
San Diego's a lot better than you think, Boyd.
No, I know they are, but
I know you think they should have traded Rivers a couple of years ago.
No, but I'm just basing it on you go to a situation with an aging quarterback was what I was getting at, but he's more of a defensive coach anyway. I wasn't even going to bring up that I thought they should have traded Rivers, but he's got a couple of years left.
Yep. All right. So we're on Baltimore. That's in the mix.
Okay.
Next up, we have Jacksonville, plus 7.5 at Buffalo.
No, thank you.
No. Though I am definitely on Jacksonville here.
Rex Ryan's trying to say to the media this week that Jacksonville is the best 2-win team he's ever seen. So take that for what it's worth and bet Jacksonville if you choose.
I will take Jacksonville simply because their defense is playing pretty well. Blake Bortles is... I have no words to describe him. The fact that he has now thrown 2 interceptions that have hit his receiver's feet.
Yeah. I'm taking Buffalo for the Bortles factor.
That's fair enough. 7.5 is too much for this Buffalo team to lay to anyone.
Well, if McCoy... Well, I may change that if McCoy's not playing.
Gillespie's just fine. I don't think that should be your factor.
Well, they seem to score more when McCoy plays. But, yeah, give me Buffalo.
Scoring is important, you think? All right. Next game up, we have the LA Rams +7 at New Orleans.
I don't want to touch this one either.
This is a stowaway, but very interesting to me.
Well, this is the type of game the Rams win outright under Fisher. Every time everybody thinks, oh, they're awful, they're this, they're that, their defense will fucking hold Breeze to 10 points and they'll squeak it out 12-10 or some fucking thing.
He'll run 3 fake punts.
Yeah, it's just like every time you think, like they went into Seattle last year and won when they were shit. They always pull 1 or 2 games a year where you go, well, where's that been all year?
Well, we bet both teams on the under on this. Can we pray for a tie?
Well, I think the Saints win this game.
I do not think they win it by 7. They've beaten 3 teams by more than 7 in the last 4 years. The Saints.
Yeah,
you know, I'm not a trend better, but when you have Drew Brees as quarterback, and ultimately that's your number, I think that's significant.
Yeah, give me the Rams. You made. I was going to take the Saints, but then I started thinking about what I said about Goff starting last week against the Dolphins, that he'd give up some points with some turnovers. Well, he's only thrown the ball 7 yards a pass. Attempt. That's how far the ball's traveling in the air. 7 yards on average.
Yeah.
So they're not even giving him a chance to throw
per
a pick.
attempt, it's something like 4.13, which is atrocious.
So, yeah, give me the Rams. They're going to play it close to the vest again.
Yeah, and their defense is pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, the New York Giants -7 at Cleveland. I'm taking the Browns and the points. I know, like, at this point, I am the definition of insanity.
No, I'm taking the
Giants are no fucking good.
That defense is looking good now.
See, I said that in week 3, and I don't buy it.
Yeah, their secondary's pretty good. They're getting some pass rush. They might not be getting the sacks like they used to, but they're getting a lot of hurries and knockdowns. It's better than we thought they were going to be at the start of the year.
Much better. We're going to lose that bet. We wrote that one off.
Yeah, so give me the Giants laying 7. The Browns are defeated. It's over.
That's true, and that's what I've been running on most of the last few weeks. I said that Dallas game was the first time they stopped being plucky. But now they're staring history in the face.
No, not really. There's already another team at 0-16, so it doesn't matter. It's not like they're the first. I don't think
I guess it really didn't cling to the Lions much, did it?
No. Got him Stafford.
Fair enough.
So, no, give me the Giants.
Okay, I took Cleveland. Next up, we have San Diego -2 at Houston, which I think is a terrible line. I am taking Houston.
I thought that was a terrible line, but Osweiler is brutal.
My defense is pretty good. Rivers bounces back often from the disaster, but Houston's pass rush is excellent, and Miami swarmed Rivers like Minnesota did last year. The O-line has now collapsed once again under injury and lack of talent.
2 weeks. Houston played in Mexico City Monday night. Give me San Diego.
I'm taking Houston.
Melvin Gordon will slow down the rush.
I hope he does. The notion that San Diego would be 5-point favorites at home, theoretically, it seems silly to me. San Diego shouldn't be laying 5 to anyone.
It's on Osweiler. That's where the line's coming from. And your improved defense. That's what the line's from. Like, Oakland doesn't have a great defense. They put up 20 points. Still gave up 27. Rivers should be able to pick them apart.
Yeah, but Oakland has a great offense, and they only gave up 27. And 14 of those were bullshit. Houston can shut down San Diego. No, I think Houston wins this outright, wins it by 10. Next up, we have San Francisco +7.5 at Miami.
I've taken the Niners.
Me too.
I don't think the Dolphins are. Oh, Jesus. I can't fucking bet that. 1-9 team? 1-9 team? Well, let's see.
1-9 teams are. Okay, Miami's O-line is a disaster.
Niners traveling across the country, playing it fucking early.
Okay, everyone keeps citing this, but if you look at this year's numbers, those West Coast teams traveling to the East Coast are kicking holy ass.
They're 1-9.
They're 1-9, but they just managed. And by the way, okay, New England, that was a push game last week. That game was a fuck of a lot tighter than you think.
No, I know.
Tom Brady had to do some Tom Brady fucking magic to do that. He looked great, by the way. Surprise, surprise.
No, but can we look up let me see Niners schedule. I want to see how they've done on the road, because I think they're a much different team at home.
I mean, Tom Brady made some amazing moves. Blunt. I honestly, San Francisco, everyone assumed David Johnson would go for 209 million yards. Can Tannehill hit his receivers at all? He did against San Diego. But don't forget, Miami is just coming off the West Coast, where they've been for the last 2 weeks.
Lost to the Bills 45-16.
I think it should be in the mix. I actually like the Niners. I don't think they can control Kaepernick, who cannot throw the ball particularly well. But
I'm missing some games here. Let me bring this up. They're only showing me 6.
The big game for me is Arizona. Or Miami if you shut down Jay Ajayi.
That's a big if for them, isn't it? At Carolina, they gave up 46. At Seahawks,
But they scored 23.
They gave up 37. At Bills, gave up 45.
What are the last 3 games?
Gave up 41 to the Saints at home.
And scored
23.
Okay.
Gave up. The Cardinals beat them 23-20. And the Patriots 30-17.
I'm considering this. If you want to reject it, that's fine.
No, put it in the mix. I don't know what other underdogs are out there that are any better.
I don't know that Miami is a 7.5 point team. That win against the Rams, brutal. It's theft.
3 out of the 4 games they've lost on the road this year they gave up 35 points or more.
Fair enough. Hey, man, you think I wanted to look at San Francisco? I just hate this board.
Okay.
All right, next game we cannot bet on. Tennessee is -5 at Chicago. I'm probably going to bet on them again.
I'm taking the Bears.
All right.
What? Their fucking backup was better than Cutler this year, throwing the ball.
It's Matt Barkley, for God's sake.
Oh, yeah, the other guy's out for the year.
Cutler. That guy? And Hoyer, yeah.
Hoyer, yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
The most overrated, over-advertised piece of shit, and I've said this for fucking years, that fucking... I barely can even speak his name, because I can't remember that long-haired piece of shit.
I don't know who you're talking about now.
Linebacker for the Packers.
Oh, Clay Matthews.
Yes.
Why are you talking about him with the Bears and Titans?
Because he broke Hoyer's arm.
Oh.
On a blatant spear. Because he's not that good, by the way. He looks like...
No, I thought Hoyer
looks like
start.
Fabio.
That's what I was thinking.
That's interesting, because Dave at work, who I work with, was considering trading for Cameron Meredith in a different fantasy league.
Yeah.
And I said, no, not with fucking Matt Barkley throwing him the ball.
Okay, give me the Titans.
Yeah, it's not Hoyer. He speared him, broke his arm in a dirty play. And, yeah, Clay Matthews is a piece of shit. He's a terrible player.
As long as we don't spot him 21, we should be okay.
Yeah, it'd be unlikely. I would like to see Jordan Howard do well, but whatever. It's Matt Barkley.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised a little bit that you're only laying 5. That makes you an 8-point favorite against Chicago at home.
Yeah. We shouldn't be 8-point favorites against anybody.
Because, well, no, you pointed out to me that you're the highest scoring team in the AFC.
Yeah, and we're 5-6.
Yeah. I mean, Chicago's defensive front is pretty good, but anyway. Next up, we have Seattle, -5.5 at Tampa Bay. I like Seattle here.
Yeah, me too. I don't know, do you want to bet it?
It's certainly in the mix.
Yeah, Tampa's defense is kind of a mess. I don't think, and Tampa's offense is kind of a mess.
We cashed out our KC bet, right?
Yeah.
This is part of the reason. Their inability to handle Tampa Bay at home was frightening. I do not think Tampa Bay is very good.
Oh, I hope they're good enough to get to 8 wins, but not in this game.
No, I don't think so. Russell Wilson can move again. Maybe his vitamin water is the elixir of the gods.
But they were resorting to trick plays on Sunday to score touchdowns.
Against Philly?
Yeah.
Was that toying with your opponent?
No, because the game wasn't like they weren't blowing them out.
I did like Baldwin giving the finger to the sideline.
Yeah.
When that play was called.
But outside of that run from Procise, they had nothing on the ground.
Procise is gone, Rawls. I still like Seattle quite a bit against Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
everyone,
their defense
everyone
should be able
keeps
to
telling me that Tampa Bay's defense is good. When have we seen that, really?
No, I agree. But I just worry with Seattle without a running game. But
Russell Wilson is moving just fine again.
There's not much on this board, so yeah.
And where's the pass rush from Tampa Bay?
Oh no, I'm just saying. Seattle without a running game, I don't know what they've got.
I still think they're pretty damn good.
Oh no, they're a good team. I just worry. They're one of those teams like New Orleans and Ben Roethlisberger on the road. They're a little sketchy sometimes.
Tampa Bay's home record is appalling.
Oh, I know.
Everyone's in the pirate ship. It's a decaying amusement park. It's not interesting. There's no home field advantage. I think Seattle rolls them. Statement game from Seattle. I love this game. It's probably my favorite game. Next up, we have Carolina plus 3.5 at Oakland.
I don't know if I want to touch this one. I don't think I do.
I don't really. I like Oakland.
Yeah, I'm going to take Oakland, but Carolina's defense is looking more like it did last year. The offense hasn't carried its weight. Especially against Kansas City. They should have won that game.
And Oakland's defense is settling. We thought at the start of the year they'd be better. Their first 4 games, they're the worst defense in the league.
Yeah.
Have you noticed no one is talking about them anymore? Khalil Mack is being Khalil Mack again.
But when you're 8-2, that covers up your flaws.
Oh, and they got at least 3 of the games of Oakland are a little bit horseshit.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay game, New Orleans game, even the Houston game. They didn't get the win till 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take
Houston
Oakland,
game,
but I want to
actually,
stay.
they should have lost flat out. I'm taking Oakland though still because I think Carolina, went to the Super Bowl, but I think they're kind of falling apart as a team.
Yeah. And Derek Carr's elite.
Oh, no question. Next game up, New England minus 7.5 at the Jets.
I don't know.
We're getting reasonable numbers on New England again.
Yeah, I wish it was 7. Yeah, but the Jets are terrible. Ryan Fitzpatrick's going back to Ryan. He didn't even have a good year last year. He had a manageable year, and the Jets are so desperate for a quarterback they re-signed him. Like nobody was beating down his door. That should tell you something.
And
he had
no one
options
will be
other than
beating
Jet.
down his door again.
No. No, I don't mind the
find
Patriots here.
I find it hard not to take the Patriots here.
Yeah? No, I'd throw it in the mix.
I don't see a back door.
No, because they only have a receiver is Brandon Marshall and Forte at running back.
The New England's defense is terrible.
I know.
I mean, all this talk that they're the best in the league, I think, is wildly overstated. But
no, I wouldn't want to see him play Seattle in the Super Bowl or Denver in the playoffs.
No. And a healthy Pittsburgh, I think, would give him a fight.
Yeah. I don't know if they could stop him enough, though. Pittsburgh's defense isn't that great either.
No, Pittsburgh's defense, that would be a high-scoring game. But
yeah, it'd be like the Dallas game. Last team with the ball wins.
But for years, we begged for reasonable numbers from New England. That half point pisses me off, but I think it's just to scare away punters like us.
Yeah. Yeah, throw him in the mix.
Yeah, all right.
I'll take the best quarterback on the planet, laying 7.5. I don't think the Jets are much better than the Niners.
No, and their secondary is a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, San Francisco, the reason we backed off there was we figured it would be they get a lead and they just run blunt. And that's what happened. Here, what's the weakness? It's not New England's, or it's not the Jets' defensive line, which is good.
Oh, I think overrated.
Brady is... Okay, but Brady is going to throw the ball, and he's going to carve up this piece of shit. I like this game a lot. And you know how much I like laying more than 7.
Yeah.
Not at all. All right, next up, we have KC +3 at Denver.
No, thanks.
No, I do not want to touch this.
No.
I'm going Denver, though. The notion these teams are equal is accurate.
When it all comes down to offensive inability.
Yes. Yeah.
This could be a 9-6 game. So,
yeah.
But yeah, give me Denver.
Yeah, I see this more as a 17-10, 17-13 game. But which side is which, I have no idea. And then finally, we have Green Bay +3.5 at Philly.
Not touching this one either.
I like Philly a lot, but...
Oh, I like Philly here too, but is Wentz good enough to take advantage of that secondary? And that porous defense?
I think he is.
The fucking Sproles and Matthews are both out.
Wendell Smallwood is fine.
Fine. But they're
no
receivers,
yeah.
It's Zach, no.
Yeah, okay, that backs me off the game, though I like Philly quite a bit.
I'm going to take Philly, but if Rodgers has time to throw, Philly's going to lose the game.
God, looking at this, I've got so many favorites, and that depresses the fucking shit out of me.
Well, I can't take Green Bay. They've lost 4 in a row. Their defense hasn't stopped anybody. But I don't... With no feature back for Philly, and I watched some of that Seattle game on Sunday, their receivers are dropping balls all over the place.
Oh, Aguilar. Good God, if he has a job in 2 years, it means he's changed his entire lifestyle.
He might not have a job this week. They brought in a receiver.
Awful.
They brought in a receiver.
Fucking awful.
So, okay, who do we got?
All right, we have Baltimore over Cincy, laying 4.5. Our only underdog that we talked about here was the Niners.
Yeah.
Are we going to bet it?
Yep. There's nothing else there. Because the only other one you liked was Houston. We can't bet them because they're playing the Chargers.
Yeah.
So we got the Niners plus 7.5 at Miami. $10 pays $19.09.
Oh, we're not even getting a price.
Booked.
Wow. Okay.
And my favorite game, even though you haven't gone through them all, is Baltimore over Cincy's depleted team.
That was your favorite game?
That would be my pick as the one we bet for sure.
Okay. Because I honestly, our other two games are Seattle and New England, both of which I prefer.
Okay.
But, okay, let's take Baltimore.
Well, we can.
No, because then we can select one of the other ones.
Well, no, but okay, let's look at it this way. We'll take the better team overall and quarterbacks overall. That's always been we've always tried to bet on the better quarterback in the games we can find that we like. Let's go with Wilson and Brady over Flacco. Those Cincy games tend to be fucking weird too with Baltimore. Regardless.
Yeah, the NFC or the AFC North. Are you sure though? Because I don't want to push you around on this.
No, it wasn't a push. I just went, oh yeah, let's take the better teams and quarterbacks.
I like the way Seattle's playing.
Yeah, you don't have to push anymore. I'm in.
Okay.
So we got the Seahawks minus 5.5 at Tampa. $10 pays $19.09. And then we have New England at the Jets minus 7.5. If my webpage would scroll up, thank you. $10 pays $19.09. It is booked.
All right, I'll quickly summarize. We have taken Jesus Christ, it's hard to even say. We have taken the San Francisco 49ers plus 7.5 versus Miami. In Miami, we have taken Seattle minus 5.5 on the road against Tampa Bay. $10 pays $19.09. And we have taken New England minus 7.5 at the New York Jets. $10 pays $19.09.
All right. If you want to listen to our podcast, you can listen to it on iTunes or Stitcher for your Android device, on our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter at Offensive Lines for any updates to our blog posts or when a new podcast is available. Our personal Twitter accounts at OLinesMarlon or at OLinesBoyd. Facebook.com/Offensive Lines. And if you want to send us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. And those were our picks for Week 12.
Degenerate fucking gambler.